Hi everyone, welcome to the Learning Curve with Ramya Deepak. It's hard to believe we are already in episode 7 this year. This is a channel where we explore the world of education and the challenges and the victories that come with it. Firstly, a huge thanks to all my audience and all the connections I have for engaging with me through this channel and reaching out through your comments and feedback. As we continue this journey, I'm delighted to be able to bring more outstanding educational leaders to this forum and explore the nuances of educational leadership through their wisdom. Today, I'm honored to be joined by Deborah Patterson. Deborah has been in education for 46 years, and for 22 of those years, she has served as a principal in schools across Melbourne. She has held various volunteering positions and received numerous accolades for her work, presentations, and leadership. She's an experienced leader, coach, mentor, teacher, and writer. And with her recently published book titled Passion, Guts, and Leadership, an A to Z for the unconventional education leader, has turned into a successful author as well. It is a huge honor for me to welcome Deborah to this forum, as personally because I've just finished reading her book and I've been so energized and invigorated by her wisdom, her stories, and her anecdotes that it was really important for me to have a chat with Deborah, but also bring Deborah in front of all of you. And some of you might have seen her in different conferences or might have met her through your journey in education. But let's start having a chat with her. So welcome, Deborah. Welcome to this viewcast.
Thank you, Ramya. It's a pleasure to be here.
Right. So let's start a little bit by learning a bit about yourself and your journey as an educational leader.
All right. Well, I've been in education for 46 years. 22 of those years, as you said, I've been a principal in 3 metropolitan schools, the largest being a school in the north with 1,100 students. And I had 1,100 students for 12 years, and the last couple of years I had on long service leave. So, yeah, there have been busy times, but it's been loved, my time in education, and that's why I volunteer with some schools, and I'm also a coach and mentor now working in schools with leaders.
Yeah,
That's been a long
absolutely.
journey.
Yeah, absolutely. So, in reading your book, I could certainly see the elements of passion and guts that form the core of your title and your own life. The way you share your own life journey and how you have come to be here is a testament to these virtues. So, could you take us through your thinking about how you chose this title, Passion, Guts, and Leadership? And why do you believe these are some of the essential virtues for educational leaders?
Thank you. Well, at the beginning of the book, I actually talk about my story. And it was important. Somebody said, "Why are you writing about that, Deborah?" And I said, "Well, it's important that people know the author.
Yeah.
And although you think of principle, you look at somebody in a suit or whatever, I didn't come from that. I came from a family, as in the book, I moved around a lot. My father was in the Navy. I lived in 14 different houses. We lived in social housing in the high-rise commission flats in Fitzroy. So I didn't come from a privileged background. And all my experiences as I went through school, if it wasn't for some dedicated teachers that took me under their wing and sort of advised me and supported my growth, and so I did go up the ranks and won a scholarship, won a studentship to go to Teachers College. But I moved out of home at 18, so I had to fund my own education. I worked 2 or 3 jobs. I got married very young, and I'm still married to him, and I have 2 beautiful children and 4 grandchildren. But my journey was extremely difficult and hard life, and getting the lessons that I learned were. I wanted to share them with people and know that anybody can achieve their goals and their dreams. It doesn't matter where you come from.
Yeah.
And having passion for education and giving back to the community is at the core of who I am. And plus, you need guts to get through life. And just as I got through my younger life and eventually my career, there were some very, very tough moments in my life. But you know what? Guts, suck it up, walk in, deal with the issue, and then you'll get, and then as with always, you build that trust and that buy-in that you want from other people.
Absolutely, absolutely. I absolutely, as I said before, I absolutely loved reading your book, especially because, yes, while there was lots of takeaways, there were lots of learning, there was lots of wisdom, the way you had spoken about them through anecdotes and through stories and through connections, it was just a wonderful read, and I felt myself resonating with a lot of that. So essentially the book appears to be a reflection or a summary of your life's lessons in it, isn't it? So can you take us through the process of distilling your experiences into practical strategies and advice for readers?
Well, throughout my career as a principal, there were moments that I dealt with, and I made an inbox, life after teaching, because I thought, gee, I've got to share these stories with people, and we're all storytellers.
Mm,
And as you say, people resonate better with that. And I put it into the to do after. And then when I did semi retire, I opened up that book and I thought, oh my God, I've got so many stories. How am I going to put this? How am I going to put this in a book? I got in charge, in touch with a mentor, and I wanted the format A to Z, about 5 or 6 topics, learnings in each
mm,
one of those A to Z. And I worked with him for a year, and at the end of the 12 months, he said, "No, Deborah, that format won't work." But for me, that it does work.
it does.
So I stayed with it, sought another publisher, and bingo, the book was written. It's an easy read, 170 pages, but educators sometimes don't have time to read. We don't have time to research. Just give us the quick tips. And that's the purpose and the aim of the book, is to be something that can be picked up. Like a good recipe, you only need 4 ingredients. Well, like a good tip, tool, and strategy, you only need 4 of them.
Mm.
And
And
it can be applied to throughout your personal life and your professional life.
I felt that was the beauty of it, because it was in that A to Z format. It was as if, I could read it continuously, but also I could take a break and then come back to it and then start from it
Yes.
and then continue that with learning irrespective of where I had stopped. But also now that I refer to it, and I want to think about, oh, that anecdote that Deborah shared, or that story, and I want to talk to someone about it, I can go back to that and I can pick that up and show it to them without having the need for them to read the whole book. And so it actually works, it actually really works. To be honest, I when I picked up the book, I was like, how is Deborah going to find something for A to Z for every single thing, and five to six learnings for every alphabet? But when I went through that, you talk about being unconventional educational leaders. I think just some of those topics were so unconventional that I'm like, but yeah, that's right, that's what we do as educators. So yeah, it was really good in that way.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, those short tips. It was hard to cull because I had a whole lot of other ones. But
Mm,
at the end of the day, this was my first book. I wanted to test the waters, so just keep it succinct, keep it brief,
mm.
and it's given me ideas for my second book.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to that. So, you've obviously shared, as you said, mentioned before, you've shared your own trials and tribulations. I mean, in your life, in your personal life as well, but also in your experience in schools and leadership roles. So, was there a particular moment, a challenge, that significantly shaped your leadership? Would you say there was one particular moment or so?
Well, in a principal's life, it's research shows that you have 40 interactions per day.
Mm,
So there are lots and lots of interactions that you would have, and to pick two. And I thought about this question, and there were 2 moments. Everything I did as a principal, and I still do, is to make life for students that come into
yeah,
my school
yeah.
the best place. You can see the children, that they feel safe, it's a place to learn, and that's our job as educators. But there were 2 incidents. One was, because I started my career as a phys ed teacher, there was at one stage four students who drowned,
Mm,
and 4 of them, it was two were drowned at one school, one at another
Mm,
school. And I thought, "Ugh, this is so ridiculous in a country like Australia."
mm,
And so I vowed that if it was ever going to be a principal, I would make swimming a
mm,
compulsory um, curricular activity at our school.
mm,
And making something compulsory, a lot of people didn't like that. You know, how dare you, Deborah, make my child? I said, because every child that comes to this school, and at Mill Park Heights, where I work, there was only a pool 10 minutes around the
mm,
corner.
mm.
So if we couldn't walk to that pool, and got a special deal, and I got lessons there, no child in Australia should drown and not have access to a safe water safety swimming program. So that was a couple of incidents that resonated with me. And the last, towards the latter end of my career,
Mhm,
was the impact of cyber bullying,
mm,
in the social media, the impact
mm.
on school. And it was an incident that, whoops, the light goes off in the office if there's no movement. So sorry
That's
about that.
okay.
But another incident that was absolutely horrendous, that created a culture change at my school over a fraudulent bullying and harassing. So it was again an incident that bought all the I made it compulsory. Out of my 100 families, I said, I want one member of your family to come to this uh, parents forum. I had Susan McLean, the cyber
Yep.
safety expert, and I showed parents the screenshots that we had received,
Mm,
and I told them, this is what we're seeing in schools nowadays. And they were
yep.
flabbergasted. They couldn't believe. So again, I had buy-in from parents. They were willing to trust me, and they knew that I was
Yeah.
wanting to do the right thing. So we developed a cyber safety bullying policy that was resonated and took a hold with the whole community. So yeah, they were. I saw the impact on students, on families, on teachers, on parents. And as a principal, it was my moral responsibility to look after the safety of
Yep.
all.
Yep. Actually, the two examples that you have just given already kind of give me an insight into the next question I'm going to ask, which is about your leadership shadow and how you describe your leadership shadow. Because what I noticed from those two examples is the courage to be transparent, open, vulnerable, and do the right thing. Because that is what is going to help our students. I can already see that, but I'm going to let you talk about how would you describe your leadership shadow?
Well, I used to say a lot of these things beforehand. I had a very strong moral
Yeah,
compass. But when you talk about these things, it's not until you have a BA or a BEd behind your name. So that was why I went to uni. I, I made sure that I was highly qualified.
mm,
But I was actually having the practical experience.
mm,
And the shadow was, um, you know, we look after after our schools and our community, and we're trusted.
mm,
And so you have to be a really good role model. You have to walk the
yeah,
talk. But I'm also a mother of two, and a grandmother of four children. And so I treat every child as if they're
yeah,
my own. And I ask teachers to do the same. We're the custodians of those
mm,
children. Treat them as they're your own. But I'm firm. I was fair. I believed in a lot of
mm,
fun that you come to learn, but to have fun and learn in a fun environment. But that no child should be able to sit with you, next to you, or impact on you on your learning in that classroom. So I'd like to think that my legacy was that I ran a tight ship.
mm,
It was a ship where the students felt good about
mm,
themselves, high expectations, high student learning outcomes, and teachers, the moment they walked through that gate, they kept any personal issues, whatever,
mm.
behind, and focused just on the children.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk about going back to the book again. You talk about being the unconventional education leader. So why that unconventional, and what do you think makes distinguishes an unconventional leader, educational leader?
Well, you probably noticed that I'm a bit loudmouth. I'm a bit out there. I'm extrovert. You could say I've got a bit of ADHD. I've got all of those. I'm enthusiastic. I look forward to school. I love what I do.
Mm,
And some people think, whoa, that's too
mm,
much. Um, but so we all try and fit into molds of what makes a conventional
mm,
leader. But after a while, I
mm.
couldn't because this is
Yeah.
me. This is who I am.
Yes.
And so I am very unconventional. And then since I've worked with people, there are a lot of unconventional leaders out
Mm,
there. And so you embrace that, you acknowledge
mm,
that. And it's not seen as something that doesn't matter what you might
mm.
appear, you've got to have the trustworthy and the, the, the honesty and the genuineness about you. And I think people value that more than seeing BA or BN
Mm.
behind your name.
I agree. That reminds me when I started my leadership journey a few years ago, and I was in one of the aspirant leadership courses. One of the facilitators asked us, give us a name of a role model or a leader who you want to be like. And I remember, and we all name some names, but I also remember telling that, while I have some role models and I look up to some people, I actually want to be me. I actually want to be a me. So,
Yes,
and I think that's what it is about, because, yes, you can learn from a lot of people, but you can't leave your uniqueness or your, what you bring to the table, completely aside as well. So that's why I absolutely loved, reading a lot of those stories, and then resonating, but also understanding what I would have done in that situation and how I would have talked about it. Awesome. So you have been in education for quite some years now. You've seen all the changes, from 40 years before, how schooling was here and now it is. And right now we have so many challenges in front of us. We have teacher shortages, we have teacher bashing happening in media, we have school rankings, we have debates over private and public school funding. So, what qualities and skills do you believe that the current generation of aspiring educational leaders need to have to effectively address these issues?
you know what? You have to actually giving a talk next month at a conference, and these are the topics that exactly what you're looking for. You can't go into teaching if you think it's a nine to
Yeah.
five job. You've got to go into teaching and leadership because it's a passion, and you generally want to make a difference. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. And when you enter a school, you have to acknowledge what's happening at the school, understand the culture, and before you judge it, immerse yourself. And luckily nowadays, schools have
Mm,
mentors, support mechanisms in place. The department is getting better and better at providing for um, doing your work program, your planning, what model you're using, the why, the what, and the how. And I'd like to think that we focus more on the
mm,
how are we teaching, how are we getting better. And there are so many things out there. But you know what? Keep it
yeah.
simple. Don't overload new teachers. Tell them, with a lot of the inspiring, I always say declutter your
Mm,
life. Get rid of your relationships that are not working, because in your professional life you find purpose and meaning, but you need to have your
yeah.
personal life, love and support. So acknowledge what it is, work with the team that you're in, and really develop your craft. But above all, learn student management. Learn how to engage the
Mm,
children, how to get down to their level, how children come in without lunch or a bad mood or things like that. It's our job to understand and relate to the children and turn them around. And if you don't know how to do it, ask for, get a mentor, get a coach. And my book, it's simple little ideas like for
mm,
a leader, how to make a quick
mm,
decision. Well, remember the 4 Ds. You either do it, you delegate, you put it in your diary, or you dump it. What's the mental model that you use with a difficult parent that's coming in. You use the GROW model. What's our goal? What's happening? G for goal, R for reality,
Yeah.
options, and W. So I would say, all right, what's the purpose of this meeting? What's happening? How are we going to solve it? And what's the way forward? So having quick things in the back of your mind will enable you to deal with some of the issues. But don't overthink it. Give yourself time. I reflect on when I was the first teacher. Oh my,
Yep.
we get better. Look, put your hand up, ask for support, and in a good school with a good climate, you should be able to
Good.
get that.
Absolutely. Golden words there, Deborah. Finally, for people or educational leaders or educators who are considering reading your book, what is there a key takeaway or piece of advice you would like them to remember?
Well, as you know, when you read the book, being such a passionate educator, the Department of Education had my head from 6 a.m. till 10 p.m. That's a long time. I only had 8 hours to reset and to sleep. And if I woke up at 3 or 5 again, now that I've semi-retired and I help other educators, doesn't matter. It's not about being a good balance, but make sure you're in tune with your head, your core, and your body. I was so much in the head space that I wasn't listening, and consequently, I had breast cancer and a stroke and things like that. But now I prioritise. When am I going to do my walk? What am I going to eat today? Um, be nice to my husband. It's those type of things. So it's about being in tune with your body, because you only get one body.
Look
So
after
make
it.
sure you
Yep.
look after it.
Absolutely, Deborah. Thank you so much. I mean, time is runs so fast when we're having a good chat and when we are talking about things that matter to us. But thank you so much for your time. I'm sure everyone who listens to this on our platforms is going to find one small thing to take away from there, but leaving us with that final message of, we only have one body and one mind, so we need to look after ourselves, and get into that job, is actually really crucial. So thank you so much. Thank you everyone for watching this video as well, and this episode. Please leave any comments or feedback. Get Deborah's book. Absolutely, I totally recommend it. I personally have the Kindle version of it, which is why I'm not showing that around here. So get the Kindle version if you run out of space on your bookshelf, and or get the hard copy, so that you can carry it around everywhere, as well. But get that, and then leave any comments or feedback for us, and we will try to get that to Deborah as well. So thank you, and I'll see you soon.
A pleasure. Thank you.